Hi everyone, welcome to our final projects detailed and rubrics lesson. I'm going to go through each of the choices that you have for completing your final project and show you how this works. This slideshow will also be available to you whenever you need it and then to just look back on. But when you've chosen your final project, you will have I will assign you that project. So you don't have a ton of assignments. You'll just have that one to complete in a timely manner. The first thing I want to talk about is why we chose to do our final projects like this. It is a student choice. So what you're going to do is choose one of the options for your final project. You're going to pick a format that is fun or interesting to you, and then you will find other resources that you need on your own. This project is worth 18 points, and each rubric shows different ways to earn those points. So the rubrics are specific to your project. Okay, so they're all separate rubrics. We're going to look at those in detail so you can choose one that you know you will excel at. These are our final project options. This is called a table of contents, and it's going to show you which pages there are for each option. So the first one we're going to look at is book report. It is slides 4 through 12. And then we have a student magazine option, and that's slides 13 through 25. You'll have a podcast or a YouTube video. That is slides 26 through 30. You will have a visual story option, and those are slides 31 to 32. There isn't a ton of resources that I've laid out for you. This is more like a very creative option. So I'm kind of leaving this up to you. I don't want to be very strict on what I expect this is, but I'll go over the rubric with you. And then this last one is an alternative book read aloud, which is 33 to 34. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but we will go over each option and rubric so you have a full understanding of what is expected of you. So we're going to start with this book review, and some of you have done this in the past. It is a paper or slideshow connecting to the books we read. I'm actually leaning more towards just the slideshow, and I will provide a template for you to follow. Now I am going to kind of exit out because you will need to see the end of or the bottom of this because it's going to give us notes that I'm going to read through. So each rubric shows what is expected of you and how many points it's worth and then what you've earned. So you will get this as a feedback and I will be writing comments in each box to why you earned the points that you earned. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to identify this publication information. That's your when it was copyright, who it's written by, what's the title, the basic information that you'll have on all books. The next thing I'm looking for is, have you described where and when the story takes place? It's pretty important for our text that we're reading. It really puts it into place. So I really want you to describe both where and when this takes place. Then you're going to write a detailed description of our main character. That's going into character qualities, who are they, you're going to discuss the conflict or problems that they kind of face, and you're going to still have, or what they're still having trouble with accomplishing, and you can answer the questions who, what, where, and how, and when. Okay? The next thing is you're going to write a detailed summary of the story. What's the takeaway? And then I'd like you to kind of identify theme and some sort of connection you've made with the text. And again, this is all a template that you're going to be filling in. And the last thing is I want you to write an opinion of the text we're reading. So the first thing you're going to do is just like any slideshow, you're going to do the book title and your name to give yourself credit for the project that you've done. It's important that we take that credit because we produce something that we care about. The next piece is, this is your about, it's your publication information, where you're going to say the title of our book, who wrote it, the publisher's name, that's where it was published. A lot of times the big companies are actually located in New York. So if you ever want to be a publisher or an editor, you would probably move to New York. And then this copyright date. This is when they have made it their own. All right. I'd also like, so it says fill in the prompts of these topics. And then I have them in parentheses so you know what to do. And then you're going to add an image of the book or the author right in this open area. All right. Next, you are going to tell us the setting. Where did this happen? Like what state did this story take place? And that's kind of important. And it's especially important because of some of the things that were happening in the recent weeks. And then you're going to say, when did this happen? And it doesn't have to be a distinct date. I don't know if there's a date per se, but it's definitely in a time frame. So on the bottom, I gave you little notes. It says, write a detailed description of where the story takes place. And then I notice that I wrote 2 sentences will go in this box. And then the when is, you're going to write a sentence that states when the story takes place. And then how do you know? So I did leave a little starter sentence for you at the bottom of how you answer that question. You say the story takes place, and then you say when. And you say, I know this because, and there is hints to when this happens, but I don't think there's an actual date. The next piece is you're going to introduce the main character, and that's writing a detailed description about Justice. All right. So, example, what are their qualities as a person? What are some of these conflicts or problems that they're dealing with? And how do they fix these, right? All of those are super important pieces of our main character, Justice. And one way you can do this is simply answer the questions who, what, when, where, how. But also it does have you the actual like qualities. That's important. Those are character traits, and that makes our main character who he is. All right. This next slide, now they look very similar. I have these yellow these yellow topics. So it says about the book, setting, introduction of main character. This is just about Justice. Here's the summary of the story. This is, you're going to use, you're just going to talk about the story and use some of the transitions below, right? So first, this happens. Second, this happens. This happens between these 2 characters, and as a result, this happens. Finally, this happens. Later, we find out this, and now, and here's an example of that. Then this is your theme and takeaway. What is the central message of this book? What is the theme? What are they mostly trying to have you take away? And then I'd like you to reflect how this theme could be like a life lesson for you. How can this theme also connect to your life? And there are several examples of big central messages, but one is kind of like what we used as connecting both texts, March and Dear Martin. The last piece is writing your opinion, and this is a paragraph. You're going to write about if you liked or disliked the book. You're going to give some examples of why, and you're going to answer like, was it confusing or too easy or too difficult? Was this story predictable? Did it seem realistic or believable? How did you like the ending? What was your favorite part? And just any takeaways you have, that's all of your opinion, right? That's what you feel about the book. So this is not factual. This is not evidence-based. This is like what you are feeling as a result of reading that book. Okay, here is option number 2. Each of your options is going to have a blue page, and it says the actual project that you're going to choose from. So this next one, they have 3 different blues and usually some examples. This next one is your student magazine, and you're going to research a current event that is similar to Dear Martin, and then you're going to write an article based off that. And when we think of articles, I'm looking for like what is this all about, and some points of reference, right? And then if you don't want to just do a lot of writing, the other option is doing an infograph, and that's the same information being put into a different visual, right? And we kind of talked about that. So let me go over the rubric so it's more clear. So the first thing I want you to do is demonstrate a full understanding of your chosen topic. You will be able to describe this topic in detail, and you will have facts about the topic that you researched. Oops, sorry about that. Students have written one detailed article or infograph about social justice, right? I do want it to be involved in social justice. That was our grand theme. Our central idea of this unit was, in fact, social justice. So this article, I don't know why I have each there, is the article is going to at least include your 5 W's: who, what, where, why, and when. Students have found relevant pictures to put in each slide. That's just making sure that your audience has a reference point to what you're talking about. And then again, one of the basics is I'm going to check spelling and grammar for all of them, but this is going to be more lenient because I am not there kind of like nurturing and suggesting like I would have in the classroom. So I'm going to give you an example of what this newspaper is going to look like. This is just what I just said, basically. And then there's some directions on how to use this template. I'm going to move past that because you and I can talk about that. But this magazine layout is going to be you're inserting things. So in this box, you're going to insert a picture, which is about your main topic. You're going to have a title, and then you're going to a title of your magazine. It can be something that you read, something that you're interested in, or something that you make up. It can be a fictional magazine. And then here's where you're going to write your title and a little brief summary of your topic. Again, pictures are pretty important. It was in our rubric. It's going to be that third piece. And so I want like 3 pictures in this one. I want an introduction to your topic. And then I want some sort of like visual here. And then what do we need to know to understand our topic? So this is going to be like maybe statistics or some vocab that you need to know about this topic. And then the last thing is this is your article. So this is going to be your body and your conclusion. And then again, here's another picture that you're going to put here. And pictures, when it's in a newspaper or magazine, they do have a little caption down here. And again, I'm here to answer any questions that you need. But I do also understand that, I mean, this is your choice. If this is something that you're interested in to pursuing, that's great. The next thing, I have my infograph. So I do want to note that you will take research, and actually there's a document it's going to be the same outline for both the infographic and the magazine, and that's how you find your details. So for this infographic, you're going to identify 3 or 4 ideas about that said topic, and then for each idea you're going to find a visual, and then you'll write a text box about that visual, and then you're going to include source information, okay? So all the information and images are on one page, and then you're going to decide on a title, okay? So what we're going to break down this word because this is something new that I've never taught, so it's important that I tell you in a correct manner. So I'm going to break the word into 2 words, right? We have root words, and the first word is info, which is information, and then a graphic means picture. So an infographic shares information about a topic in both pictures and text. So you're going to put those 2 things together. And again, this is for more visual learners, and it's nice to have a variety of both a newspaper or an infographic. Oops. Now here's your planning page for both. And here's your ideas. I want you to write your title up in this area. You'll write your title of your topic. And then you're going to come up with 3 ideas for that said topic, okay? So idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, and idea 4. That's going to show that you have an understanding of that topic. Okay, so this will say either this is my visual or this is my piece of information. And that goes for both the newspaper and the infographic. You're going to tell me where you found that information, and then you're going to write what you might say. All right, and it's important that we lay it out because then we can just copy paste it in, and our idea is very well thought out. Now it's going to go idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, and idea 4. And then that will be the information you need for the said topic of your choice. And then again, if you're choosing this, we can work one-on-one for specific ideas that I can help you with, or Miss Katie or Miss Olson. All three of us are here to help kind of create and expand on your ideas. The next choice, final project you could do is a podcast or a YouTube video. And this is interviewing someone about their relationship to the social justice movement. And you're going to research and present on a leader in a social justice movement. Okay. So what I mean by that is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to complete a research document. And I have all of this laid out. It's in a template. You're going to research the background information of the person of interest. You're going to provide notes of the importance or interest of this said person. And then you're also going to provide sentences for this said person to answer. Okay? And then the last thing is you've created a quality podcast or YouTube. All right? And that's just your recording that you're going to share with us. Your template's going to look kind of like this. Again, we do have each place where you found the websites or that information, so you'd write your web address right here. All right, so the information is your background, where is their birth, where is their death day, where were they born, where do they live now, or most recently if they've died, or where they've known to be living. The next piece is what organization are they a part of, and this can be in paragraph form, short sentences, or bullet points, like all this information. All right. What do they do as a leader, and then what are they most known for? Right. So if we're thinking of Ella Baker, she had a ton of different stuff that she was known for, but what is that most important piece? Right. What does everyone know about her? Okay, and then you'll do the why is this important that we know this person and what they stand for, and you're going to jot reasons why you think this person is important. And this is your opinion, right? We are valued from what we think, and so just tell us why you think we need to know this person. And then this is what questions are they? So you're going to type these questions here. I have a sample transcript of what something might look like. I did an interview earlier this year with a student that I had in the past, and this is kind of what we did together for her project of an interview. All right, so you can read through that if you want an example. And then you will need to record a YouTube or audio podcast of your findings. Note, this can be an actual interview with your person, or it can be an informational hypothetical interview. So the top portion of this is how you'll introduce your person. And then the next piece is kind of questions for your person to either answer, to comment on, or to kind of draw a hypothetical interview, like here's what this person might have said, type of situation. So it is going to be hypothetical means it's not going to happen, but you have enough information to answer those questions, and you will just talk about it more of an informational podcast rather than an interview. The next final project idea is a visual story, and we've done a couple of visual stories in the past, but this year especially we did March, and that's a visual representation of John Lewis' story, but you can do a visual representation of Dear Martin. And this can be a few pages of a graphic novel that kind of pinpoint on super important parts of that story. It might be a painting or a mural that represents what this person is going through, what they stand for, and kind of encompass all of that in a larger work of art. And then another thing you could do is like come up with a play. I'm going to show you the rubric to that, and it's pretty specific. So your 10 points is going to be, did you make a visual representation of this text? That's the most important thing. The other points that you're going to be able to receive is you made an author statement describing that visual representation in written form. And that's going to be that paragraph to why you chose it to look in this way and what it means, right? So you're going to explain what it means and kind of why you chose this way to represent our text. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to write an explanation to how this representation connects to this text. So ideas for accomplishing this point value is you can either write a dialogue in this graphic novel frames. You could write a playwright for a puppet show that shows that you have an understanding, or you can write this in a paragraph form. But it is important that you do explain your thinking because that's our critical thinking piece of this visual story. And this is a lot can be said using some sort of art representation. So just keep that in mind if you're like a super creative person. The last choice that we gave you is an alternative book read aloud, and this would be picking another social justice book. It can be a picture book or a longer book, it doesn't really matter, but you're going to make an audio or a video recording this reading. Now, if it is, it would be important if it's a picture book to show you, to show your audience what you're reading and to kind of go through each of those pages so you can explain your thinking and people can follow along. Just like Miss Anna did with March, I kind of want you to do that. So if it's an audio book, like a chapter book, that's kind of like Miss Jones was reading it out loud, but you didn't see the writing, which is also fine, right? But if it's a picture book, you should show us the pictures, right? Because that's often giving us more information so we can make so we can understand and comprehend that book. All right. And this is student has chosen a book that focuses on social justice. You'll get 4 points for that. A student creates an audio recording or a YouTube video of the reading of this text. That's going to be where the main points are coming from. And you've written an explanation to how this book connects to the text. And this is your paragraph, just like in the visual representation, how you had to explain why you chose to do that and how it connects. You'll do the same thing for this, and you'll have an outline for that as well. Now, that is the end of our slideshow. So this is, if you miss class, you're going to watch this video and then make sure that if you have any questions, just to let me know.